Hi. So if you've clicked the title of this video, you pretty much know what I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to make it brief because there's a lot of people who know how to make tributes far better than I, but I need to share this because it's not, well, I guess you'll find out why. So, Terry Pratchett passed away today, and I'm not taking it too well. He was one of the first serial authors I read. 10 years old, I think. I started reading him probably a little bit too young to be reading Terry Pratchett, but my dad was always giving me stuff that was a little old for my age group. So, whatever, right? And he gave me, the first book that I was lent was Equal Rights, which was a good idea. It was a good idea. And I think what I wouldn't have probably read it had I known from the start that Terry Pratchett was a man, because believe it or not, I was more sexist when I was younger. And I would have never picked up a book by a guy because I didn't think that they knew how to write women. And some don't. But I didn't find out either. I didn't find out until I was done reading the book, or I was halfway through it and I didn't want to stop despite it. But I did find out he was a man, and I was actually quite surprised because he writes women well, and he treats them with respect, and he checks his ego at the door, and he just seemed to really understand that, and I loved, even though it was like, I've always loved the witches stories. Okay, let's just get that off the bat. Witches stories are my favorite story arc. They're the only story arc that I've read all the way through, including the Tiffany Aching books, so the first one was obviously Equal Rights. That was the one that my dad gave me, because he knew I probably wouldn't have read it if there weren't any women in it, especially since it has a girl, like a young girl in it. And at the time I was 10, between 10 and 12, so 8 isn't that much of a stretch, especially since age, I don't really need to worry about age to admire somebody. I still admire Escarina in Equal Rights, you know? Like, and that's the thing that I learned. It was a really good lesson to learn. And I had to check my ego at the door, too. And he taught in these books, yes, he taught in these books that there were different kinds of magic. There was like different ways to do it, and there was different ways to utilize it. And at first he was like, oh, it's separated by the genders, but then he's kind of slowly let like the gender line kind of tickle back and forth, and they're different magics, but you can tell that they originate together. Wizardry and witchery, sorry. And as the books went on and on and on, and finished with the Tiffany Aching arc. I really hate saying finished, sorry. It's like losing a beloved uncle. And I have lost beloved uncles before, and when you grow up with a book series, when you grow up with a passion, and you find out that your hero is sick, and then you find out that he's slowly dying, and you find out that he's like, you're gonna outlive him, you know, or her. And I'm seeing it more and more now, that a lot of people are dying that are in the public eye that I grew up with, and I'm kind of terrified of aging that way. Like, I don't mind aging. I'm afraid of death, because I don't want to be one of those people that has a lot of unfinished things. And I've been really sick lately, and I've been thinking about death more and more, and it just breaks my heart. Like, he wasn't a young man when he passed today. He was 66, but it's kind of young, you know? Especially since my mom is 62, and so is my dad, and it's really hard to think about it. it's really hard to accept stuff like this, even if there are people that you don't even know, that you just know through their writing or their work or their art or their face or something like that, you know. It's like I learned so much about writing from him, and while I'm glad that his lovely daughter is gonna, if there are any unfinished things, that she's gonna pick it up, I think that's a beautiful inheritance, and I think that she is gonna do wonderfully, judging from her writing and her editing. But I'm still so sad. I'm so sad thinking about the family. I'm so sad thinking about him. Especially when I've had problems, like, he talked about assisted suicide. A lot of people are saying it could have been suicide, but his press has come out stating that it was a natural death, so it could have been complications with Alzheimer's. It was an aggressive strain, and he was fading fast. He probably didn't have time to go to the clinic in time. That would be my assumption. I don't see a reason for them to lie to us. Other than it's illegal in Britain to do it, but it's pretty much illegal anywhere, and people still, anyway, whatever. It's hard when when one of your heroes passes away and they have, when you see a similar future for yourself. And this is just another day in which I have to face the facts and realize that I'm probably going to die young. And it will probably be complications due to health reasons, because they still don't know what's wrong with me. They're actually thinking that my diagnosis might have been wrong. Yeah, and I don't know. This video kind of... I had no script ready. I wasn't going to make a video because I haven't done Mercedes video yet, which I'm sorry. There won't be another video after this that isn't that. That's the next one. But it's like what happened with Robin Williams. I had the same reaction, only I think I'm reacting more with Terry Pratchett because there's something visceral about following somebody's work that you plan on going into a similar field, and you see so many similarities of yourself in them. It just kind of scares you. It scares me. But I miss him already.